Hello and welcome to Cartola FC Game Week 10, the only Cartola YouTube channel in English. My name is Sean. Let's get into the week. We'll start with a review of last week. 86 points for me, massive score that was well above the average. 27 points above average. Did also gain $5.50 up to 145, which is quite nice. Yeah, really good game week for me. Did overload on Palmeiras at home to Curitiba. And the thing is, this score could have been even better. That kind of fluke goal, kind of mix up between Weverton and Luan in, I think there was like 10 minutes left. Curitiba did capitalize on that chance, and that was really Curitiba's only chance of the game that was substantial. Did lose the clean sheet, which meant I lost like 27 points, give or take. Tough break for me, but those things do happen. Did captain Dudu, and Dudu even had a goal ruled out as well, so could have been an even greater score, but very nice score for me. Roni, Arthur, and Dudu all came in. That was triple Palmeiras attack. That worked out quite nicely. Roni with his first goals of the season. Really good week for me. Let's take a look at game week 10. Here are the matchups for this week. Curitiba and Santos lead us off. We will know the lineup as the only match that we will have the confirmed lineup for. Some interesting picks there, mainly on the Santos side, as Curitiba have just been dreadful this season so far. They have been awful in attack. Santos has not been too great either. We'll take a look at some of their picks. Last week had the big Palmeiras matchup to exploit. This week, the big matchup is going to be Flamengo and Grêmio. And I think a lot of people will say, why is Grêmio such a big underdog on this? And the answer is their underlying stats have not been great. They are tied for third in the table, which is great, a great start for them results-wise. However, the stats are not backing that up. We'll take a look at those in a bit. But Flamengo at home is going to be a team that we're going to have a potential chance to load up on. Some other favorites, Atlético Mineiro at home to Bragantino, Corinthians at home to Cuiabá, Inter to Vasco, and Botafogo at home to Fortaleza. So some interesting matchups this week. Palmeiras is on the road to Sao Paulo. They are favorited on the road along with Fluminense at Goiás. So interesting matchups. Let's take a look at the XG tables. All right, here are the team attack expected goals per match tables. First thing that stands out, only 6 teams in the green. The cutoff is kind of 1.3 XG per match. Only 6 teams in the green, so only 6 teams that are creating a lot of chances so far this season. You can see Curitiba right there at the bottom, just really dreadful at 0.68. This is also the last 5 matches of the season, doesn't include the whole sample. So you can kind of see which teams are hot. Palmeiras at the top, unsurprisingly. Flamengo is with them as well. Cruzeiro is a bit of a surprise at second. They have a match at Bahia this week. We could look at some Cruzeiro attackers. Other than that, it's not looking too great for the rest of the league. Like Fluminense was a hot team at the start. They are struggling to create chances. Corinthians is kind of heated up. Geddes is going to be a popular option this week, but they are down in 14th, so not too great. Santos as well, just at the bottom of this chart. I'm not trusting those teams to create chances. Inter as well has a nice matchup this week, but they're not a team that we can trust to create a lot of attacking output. Botafogo is up there. Mineiro and Atlético Paranaense has heated up as well, so not a lot of teams to attack. Let's take a look at the defensive chart. Okay, here is the team defense tables. And you can see Grêmio, they were 18th in the attack table, 18th in the defense table as well. So them being tied for third in the actual table is very, very surprising. And you would expect them to kind of fall a little bit results-wise. And that could start this week at Flamengo. Fortaleza in the top spot. That is very surprising there with Palmeiras. They have been excellent defensively. Fortaleza hasn't really been tested on the road. They are on the road to Botafogo, who has been very strong, top of the league. So interesting stats there for Fortaleza. They have been very, very well and have conceded the least amount of goals so far this season, so this chart matches up with that. Mineiro, Botafogo, and Atletico Paranaense round out the top 5. Flamengo up there in 7th, have not been bad. Sao Paulo and in 6th, they are very strong at home, undefeated so far, but they face Palmeiras, maybe the best team in the league this week, so interesting matchup there. Let's take a look at the attackers. Okay, for the attackers XG table, we'll start. XGA is the expected goals and assists per match per 90. Price MPV is the minimum points to value. Average is their average on the season, and the SPM is their shots per match, their shots per 90. So we'll start with Tiquinho Suarez. He's been excellent, contributing in 9 goals so far this season. Very expensive, high average. Stats do look good. However, he does have a bit of an injury, so we'll keep an eye out if he is expected to start or not. Right now, we're going to expect him not to start, so he's not going to be in our front 3, but if we do get confirmation that he is going to start, I do like him as a pick, even though he's going against Fortaleza, the strongest defense so far this season. We talked about Fortaleza has not been tested on the road against a strong opponent, so Tiquinho Suarez, if he plays, is a nice pick. Otherwise, Hulk is out this week with that yellow card suspension. Paulinho expected to start for Atletico Mineiro. I do like him as a pick. Decent stats so far this season. Also, he has scored well in the Libertadores competition. So Paulinho is a nice pick. Mendoza is an interesting pick for Santos. They do have their guy coming back from the U20 Olympics. But Mendoza has had a high XG, high average in the game so far. I still don't really trust Santos as an attack. Same goes for Fluminense. Cano, excellent last season. This season he just has not clicked so far. Roger Guedes for Corinthians, very popular option this week. Expensive, has a great average so far, but you can see here, low XGA, 0.38. That is not great. Pedro, maybe the tastiest matchup of the week against Gremio. Has not had great, same story with Cano. Has not had great stats this season, especially compared to their excellent stats last season. Also has the highest MPV on this chart. Shots per match, only 1.7. Pedro just has not done well stats-wise this season in the Brasileirao. However, same story with Rony last week. Hadn't put up great stats going into the week. However, it was just a tasty matchup, playing in the number 9 kind of central position in a very strong attack. Flamengo's attack is still good, even though Pedro hasn't put up the stats we expect him to. I do like him as an option this week, maybe even captain him. So I do like Pedro. I like Paulinho. Victor Roque is an interesting option. If we want to look elsewhere, Guedes is going to be a popular pick for that 3rd spot. However, I'm just not sold on him and the Corinthians team overall. I do like we saw Cruzeiro at this on 2nd of the team attack XG chart. I do like Bruno Rodriguez. He is away compared to Guedes at home. However, Rodriguez is kind of a tasty differential that we could go for this week. His stats do look decent besides the low XGA. On to midfielders. Midfielders, there's not as many great options, and that's kind of a continuing theme this season. Vega is back. He is going to be a lock in my team. Away to Sao Paulo, yes, but he's just really, really involved in that offense, taking set pieces, providing assists. He's on penalties. does shoot a lot as well. He's a lock in my team. Arrascaeta is also a lock for Flamengo. He did well last week with 2 assists in the first half against Vasco. High MPV this week, but like I said, just the other options are not too great. You can see here, Alan Patrick for Inter. Eduardo could play up front for Botafogo if Suarez is out. We did see that before. His MPV is pretty high, and he just doesn't shoot enough to tempt me here. Franco for Flamengo, I do like him as an option if we know he's going to start. He does kind of play up front if Gabby is going to be out, so I do like Franco as an option. He's pretty cheap as well. Other than that, it's just very slim pickings for the midfielders. Fullbacks or laterals in Portuguese. It's very interesting here. CS percentage, that's the clean sheet percentage. XGA, not the most important thing here, but Piqueras has been very, very attacking. He did get an assist, or he got a goal in the Libertadores, almost got another assist as well in that match. Piqueras is a very, very good pick. I think I'm going to have him on my team. Marlon, very expensive there with Ayrton Lucas. Marlon is just a machine. And when his MPV is low, I don't see any reason not to pick him this week. He's away to Bahia, who have given up the most points to laterals this season. So I do like Marlon as an option. He's expensive. Ayrton Lucas, I struggle with. We talked about the matchup to Grêmio being very favorable for Flamengo assets. The MPV is just too high for me, 11. On to center backs. First thing that stands out here is Luan. The XGA is pretty high. Cuesta as well, pretty high. Luis, we saw, has a goal or two in him. I do like those picks. Gustavo Gomez will be out for Palmeiras this week, so Luan's clean sheet percentage does get hurt a little bit with that, but Palmeiras center backs are just such a threat on set pieces, from corner kicks, free kicks outside the box. They're just such a threat to score. They're always in there, so I do like Luan as a pick, even though his clean sheet percentage is not as high as some of the other options. Murillo for Corinthians is a nice option, and he's extremely cheap, along with Naves there for Palmeiras, looking to get the start with Gomez being out. So if you wanted to go cheap at center back, those two are nice. I do like David Luiz. As well as Cuesta and Joaquim for Santos, going against that really poor Coritiba attack. Goalkeepers, two that stand out for me. It's going to be Cunha for Flamengo and also Perry for Botafogo. Good stats. Everson has the most clean sheets so far this season, but his MPV is the highest by far in this chart, so that rules him out. Casio, you can see here in the stats, his saves per match is under 3. That's pretty low. Also, the OSTPM, that column on the right, is the opponent's shots on target per match, and that's the lowest. He's going against Cuiabá. So I just don't expect him to get a lot of saves. It might be the biggest clean sheet percentage, but I'm looking at Cunha. Very, very cheap. Allows us to go expensive with Marlon and Ayrton Lucas if you wanted to. So yeah, I'm looking at Cunha. All right, here is my team for this week as it stands. We have Pedro captain, just because it's a tasty matchup. He's going to be that number 9, and he is a good player. He is a good player, so I expect him to perform eventually. I do have a lot of Flamengo players with that nice matchup against Grêmio. Marlon has been excellent this season. Bruno Rodriguez is kind of going to be the spicy pick this week. When it's him and Geddes, and I think they're kind of even on how many points they're going to get, I will go with the less popular option just because it's more fun to go with someone who is barely owned, and it's can also help me rise quite a bit in the rankings. So I do like him. Also do have 3 Palmeiras players. They're one of the few teams I do trust, along with Atletico Mineiro. So yeah, this is my team. Good luck, and I'll talk to you next week.